the old harp player. Gifted musicians were exceedingly rare in ancient times. But during the era of the renowned Caliph King, a certain skillful harpist gained considerable acclaim. Audiences adored his voice, the enchanting tones of his instrument, and his engaging presence, rewarding him generously each time he performed. As time sped by, the musician aged, and his once mellifluous voice lost its charm. People ceased to appreciate him, and the more he tried to sing, the more his voice resembled the braying of a donkey. Crowds now shunned him, and by the time he reached 70, he was destitute and unemployable. Ultimately, he found himself at the end of his rope and turned to God at long last. "My God, you have granted me a long life, but I have transgressed. I failed to recognize your benevolence, yet you never turned away from me, always providing me with my daily sustenance. Now, in my old age, my once beautiful voice has deserted me. It repulses people, whereas not too long ago they couldn't get enough of it. I pledge to play and sing only for you, my beloved, from this day forward." He solemnly vowed, seeking a moment of solitude. With this in mind, he made his way toward the town cemetery. In the graveyard, he discovered an empty expanse, silently weaving through gravestones until he selected a spot to rest. Making himself as comfortable as he could, he began to play his harp with all his heart until exhaustion overcame him, and he drifted into slumber. In his dream, he found himself in a lush meadow, his soul's wings unfurling, carrying him effortlessly toward the sun from the depths of his being. He yearned to linger suspended in the air indefinitely, but fate had different plans. His time on earth was not yet complete. At that very moment, Caliph King, unusually dancing in his palace, received divine instruction in a dream. "King, it is time to attend to my chosen one. You will find him asleep. Amidst the gravestones, take 700 dinars from the public treasury on my behalf and deliver them as his wages. Let him return to you for more once he has expended it." King awakened with a sense of urgency. Comprehending the gravity of his dream, he hurried to the graveyard. But his search yielded only an elderly man slumbering by a grave, his ancient harp by his side. Initially uncertain if this was indeed God's chosen one, King continued searching in vain. Finally, he concluded that the harpist must be the man he was sent to locate. Not wanting to disturb the old man, who appeared at peace, King quietly settled beside him. However, a sudden sneeze disrupted the silence, jolting the old man awake. "Oh!" in his fright, mistook King for the angel of death. Amused, King reassured him gently, "You need not fear me, dear one. I bring you glad tidings. God has highly commended you, and has tasked me with conveying his blessings. He has also sent you 700 dinars as overdue wages. When you have expended them, you are to return to me for more." The aged musician could scarcely believe his ears. Becoming even more agitated than before, distraught, he emitted a heart-rending cry. Tearing his tattered shirt and biting his own hand in great confusion. "One and only God, you have humbled me to nothingness," he sobbed, then stood and wandered aimlessly through the cemetery. Eventually, he returned to find King and his harp in the same spot as before, retrieving his cherished instrument. He smashed it against a nearby gravestone with a single, forceful strike. Obliterating his sole means of livelihood, he cast blame upon the harp, declaring, "You have been the barrier between God and me. You led me astray from his altar for nearly 70 years. You drained my life force and caused me to feel ashamed before my Creator." He lamented as he continued to strike the harp repeatedly, reducing it to mere splinters of wood. "I beg your forgiveness, my God," he confessed. "Throughout this lengthy life you bestowed upon me, I have transgressed. I squandered it in song and music, neglecting the pain of separation from you. I, and no one else, am responsible for my guilt and shame." He professed, "Please save me from myself, for my adversary resides within me, closer to me than my own feeble soul." King consoled the agitated man, advising him to release his past and future, for he remained entangled between them. This indicated that he had not yet fully entrusted himself to God and was not yet one with the Creator, as the old musician listened to King's sagacious counsel. He felt a purer light welling up in his heart, enveloping his body and soul. Astonished, he sensed that he was letting go of the world he had known until then, positioning himself in an alternative realm untouched by superficiality. It was a realm that demanded a different comprehension, where words failed, solitude and silence reigned, and where the purity of a deeper connection with the divine was all that remained. To support us, please make sure to subscribe the channel, Rumi Safi Mystic, and press the like button.